You're watching this on a screen right now, and somewhere in the back of your mind there's a number, a retirement number. Maybe it's 65, maybe it's 62, maybe it's when the kids finish college. And you've told yourself that number is reasonable, responsible even. I'm here to tell you that number might be the most dangerous thing in your life. Not because you picked the wrong age, because you picked it without looking at the calendar honestly. My husband Harold retired on a Friday in April of 1998. I remember because it rained that whole week and he kept saying, "Peggy, even the sky doesn't want me to leave." He was joking. He was 66. The plan was simple. We'd travel some. He'd fish. I'd read. We'd finally use the good coffee mugs every morning instead of saving them for guests who never came. That was the plan. And here's what I want you to do right now. Not later, not after this video. Right now, I want you to think about the oldest person in your family. Your grandmother, your great-uncle, whoever. Think about when their body started to change. Not when they died, when they changed. When the walks got shorter. When the stairs became a negotiation. When they stopped driving at night. Hold that age in your mind. Harold's number was 68. 25 months. That's what we got. 25 months of him being the Harold who could carry a canoe to the water, who could drive 6 hours to see the kids in Milwaukee without needing to stop, who could kneel down in the garden and get back up without grabbing the fence. 25 months between "I'm retired" and "I need to sit down, Peg." So when people tell me they're planning to retire at 65, I don't smile and say, "That's wonderful." I ask them a question that makes them uncomfortable. What are you waiting for? And do you actually have the time you think you have? There's this data. The World Health Organization publishes it, about something called your healthy life expectancy. Not when you die, when you stop being healthy. In Japan, it's 74. In Singapore, 73. In the United States, 66. Let me say that differently. The average American loses their health at 66. If you retire at 65, you're giving yourself 13 months. 13 months of health. That's not a retirement. That's a long vacation that ends in a doctor's office. I watched it happen to Harold. I watched it happen to our neighbor, Don Kessler, who retired at 67 and was diagnosed with emphysema 11 weeks later. I watched it happen to my friend Ruthie Sandoval, who spent 31 years teaching 4th grade, retired at 63, that was the smart one, and got 9 good years before her knees made the world small. So here's what I need you to hear. And I need you to hear it from someone who has sat in enough waiting rooms and stood at enough gravesides to know. Your health is not guaranteed at any age, but it is statistically leaving earlier than you think. Plan accordingly. Now. I know what you're thinking. That's easy to say, Peggy. I have a mortgage, I have tuition, I have car payments. I know. I was a librarian. Harold worked for the county. We were not wealthy people. We never earned what anyone would call impressive money. But I'll tell you what we did, and I'll tell you where we were stupid too, because this isn't a sermon. What we did right: we kept one house. Our whole marriage, one house. The one on Birch Lane with the maples. We watched people around us buy cabins, lake houses, timeshares. And every single one of those people had a story 5 years later about the taxes, the upkeep, the arguments about when to go and when to sell. We stayed in our house. We fixed what broke. We didn't upgrade the kitchen because a magazine told us to. And that decision, just that one, probably bought us 3 years of freedom. Where we were stupid, we saved money like it was the point of living. I still have, look, I'm embarrassed to say this, I have money sitting in accounts that has never done a single meaningful thing, never bought a trip, never funded an adventure, never turned into a memory. I was so afraid of running out that I forgot what the money was for. If you're saving and you don't have a clear picture of what you're saving toward, you're just hoarding. And hoarding isn't a plan. It's anxiety with a bank balance. So here's what I'd tell you to do this week. Not this year, this week. Sit down with your partner, or by yourself if that's your situation, and answer this. If your health started declining in 18 months, what would you regret not doing? Write it down, on paper, not on your phone where it disappears into the noise. On paper, where it stares at you from the kitchen counter. Then ask the harder question, what is actually stopping you? And be honest. Because when Harold and I finally took that trip to Bayfield, the one we'd talked about for 6 years, you know what the cost was? A tank of gas and a night at a motel that smelled like pine cleaner. 6 years of, we'll go next summer for something that costs less than a dinner out. Most of the things you're postponing are not expensive. They're just not urgent, and nothing feels urgent until it's too late. I want to talk about something else, too. Something people don't discuss when they talk about retirement. The identity part. Harold struggled with it. I watched him go from a man who got dressed every morning with purpose, belt, watch, coffee in the truck by 6:45, to a man who stood in the kitchen at 9 a.m., looking like he'd misplaced something he couldn't name. Retirement took his structure, and without structure he filled the days with television and small projects that never quite satisfied him. If you are planning to retire, you need to retire to something, not from something. Harold retired from work. He didn't retire toward anything. That was my fault, too. I should have pushed him. I should have said, "What are your Tuesday mornings going to look like, Harold?" I didn't. I assumed he'd figure it out. He didn't figure it out. Most people don't. So add that to your paper this week, not just when you want to stop working. What does the first ordinary Wednesday look like? Who are you with? What are you making? Where are you walking? If you can't answer that, you're not ready to retire. You're just ready to quit. And those are very different things. I'm 91 years old. I have had 25 years without Harold. 25 years I've had to fill with something other than waiting. And I'll tell you what saved me. It wasn't money, it wasn't health, it wasn't family, though all of those helped. It was that I had always known how to be in a room by myself and not be afraid of it. I had interests that didn't depend on another person. I had a relationship with quiet that most people never build because they're too busy running from it. Build that now. Whatever age you are, build a life that works when the other chair is empty. because eventually it will be. You don't have as many healthy weeks as you think. None of us did. The ones who got it right weren't the ones with the best portfolios. They were the ones who stopped saying someday before someday was decided for them. Go make your phone call, write your list, book the trip that costs less than you think. And for God's sake, stop saving the good coffee mugs for guests.